Oh, hi, teacher Hazel. It's me, AJ, and I'm gonna read you about the best nest. Let's continue. I'm gonna read along. The Best Nest by P.D. Eastman. Mr. Bird was happy. He was so happy he had to sing. This was Mr. Bird's song. I love my house, I love my nest. In all of the world, my nest is the best. Then Mrs. Bird come out of the house. It's not the best nest, she said. Oh, woman. I'm tired of this old place, said Mrs. Bird. I hate it. Let's look for a new place right now. So they left the old place to look for a new one. This place looked nice, said Mr. Bird. Let's move in here. But someone else had already moved in. So they look at another house. This one look nice, said Mr. Bird. And there's nobody in it. You're wrong, said Mrs. Bird. This house belongs to the foot. So they went on another look. They went on the looking. I like this one, said Mr. Bird. It has a pretty red flag on the roof. I always wanted a house with a flag, said Mrs. Bird. Maybe this place will be all right. But it was not all right. I guess I made a mistake, said Mr. Bird. You made too many mistakes, said Mrs. Bird. I'm going to pick the next house. And here it is, right here. They flew in. They looking around. Isn't it too big? Asked Mr. Bird. I like this big place, said Mrs. Bird. This place, this, this is the place to build our new nest. They went right to work. They needed many things to build their nest. First, they got some hay. Come on, just finish. They got some soda straw and broom straws. They got some sweater strings. They got some stocking strings and matten stuffing. They got some horsehair. They got some man hair. Soon they had all the hair, no, all the hay, all the straws, all the strings, all the stuffing, all of the horsehair, all of the man hair they could carry. They took it all back to build their nest. Mr. and Mrs. Bird worked very hard. It took them the rest of the morning to finish their nest. This nest is really the best, said Mrs. Bird. I want to stay here forever. Mr. Bird was very happy too. He flew to the top of his house. He sang his song again. I love our house, I love our nest. In all the world, our nest is the best. He was so busy singing, he didn't even see Mr. Parker coming. Every day at 12 o'clock, Mr. Parker come to the church. Mr. Parker come to the pool. Come to pull a rope. The rope went up to the bird new nest. The rope rang the big bell right under Mrs. Bird's nest. Ding, ding, ding. Mrs. Bird got out of there as fast as she could fly. When Mr. Bird come in, all he could see was a mess of hay, and straws, and stuffing, and horsehair, and manhair, and straws. Where was Mrs. Bird, you say? I will look for her until I find her, said Mr. Bird. He looked up. No, he looked high. He looked low. He looked everywhere for Mrs. Bird. He looked down into the chimney, but Mrs. Bird wasn't there. He looked down into the water barrel, but Mrs. Bird wasn't there. Then he saw a big fat cat. There was a big fat smile on a big fat cat's face. No, on the fat cat face, sorry. There was some pretty brown feathers near the fat cat mouth. Mr. Bird cries, "Oh, oh dear," he cried. This fat cat has eaten Mrs. Bird. Blood everywhere. Mr. Bird flew off. "I'll never see Mrs. Bird again," he cried. It was getting dark. It began to rain. It rained harder and harder. Mr. Bird could not see where he was going. Crash! Mr. Bird bumped into something. It 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 was his old house, that old house that Mrs. Bird hate. "I go inside," said Mr. Bird. "I'll rest inside until the rain stop." Mr. Bird went in, and there was Mrs. Bird sitting there singing, "I love my house, I love my nest, in all the world my nest is the best." This nest is the best, sorry. "You here!" gasped Mr. Bird. "I thought you hated this old house." No, nest, I mean. Mr. Bird, no, Miss Bird smiled. "I used to hate it here," she said. "But a mother bird can change her mind, you see. There's no nest like a old nest for a brand new bird." And when the egg popped open, the new bird thought so too. And happy ever after. And we'll never ever know the the big fat cat have eaten the person. I'm not sure who it is, but rest in peace to his souls. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoy my stories. And see you. Actually, not gonna see you again because I'm freaking out. That's good. But see you again.